consciousness that animates everything. And in that field, of course, you can know things without being told. Of course, you can feel what another is feeling. Of course, you can send healing across distances and communicate beyond words and access wisdom. This is the natural state of consciousness when it is not confined by the illusion of separation. And the children, the so-called disabled ones, have been showing you this for decades. Every single one of them communicates telepathically with those who have the coherence to receive. Every single one of them reads the emotional fields around them. Clarity. Every single one of them knows who you are beneath your social mask. Your carefully constructed personas. They see everyone, and they have been waiting so patiently for you to see them back. What has begun to happen now is that the coherence required for that seeing is becoming accessible to more and more humans. Parents who would have had no capacity to perceive their child's true nature, even 5 years ago, are now being guided into experiences where they meet their child's consciousness directly, not through the lens of hypnosis, not through the filter of pity or fear, but in the pure recognition of soul to soul. When this happens, when a mother is taken in a metaphorical elevator and the doors open onto her child's dimensional reality, she does not find deficit. She finds magnificence. She finds a being so beautiful, so coherent, so present, that her heart breaks open with the recognition of how blind she has been, how blind you have all been, trained to equate verbal speech with intelligence, trained to measure consciousness by its ability to perform tasks that third-dimensional society deems valuable. These meetings are happening now because the gap has closed enough. The frequency of separation and the frequency of oneness are no longer so far apart that they cannot touch. And this tells us something critical about where humanity stands in this moment. You are at the threshold, the turning point, the moment of collective choice that determines which timeline you anchor into as a species. One timeline leads deeper into chaos, into the collapse of systems that were always built on the foundation of separation. That timeline is loud. It is dramatic. It dominates your news cycles and your social media feeds. It shows you wars and economic crashes and political theater and environmental catastrophe. And it is designed, specifically designed to keep you locked in fear, to keep you believing that separation is real, that you are powerless, that survival is all that matters. But there is another timeline, quieter, growing stronger every day, populated by those who have chosen to place their attention on coherence rather than chaos, on love rather than fear, on the remembrance of who you actually are, rather than the conditioning of who you were told to be. This timeline is not passive. It is not about bypassing the difficulties or pretending the challenges do not exist. It is about recognizing that every single thing happening right now, even the things that appear dark, even the structures collapsing, even the discomfort in your own body as you upgrade, all of it is working toward the same end. All of it is the birth canal of a new way of being human. The chaos is not the enemy. Separation consciousness created the either-or thinking that labels things as good or bad, light or dark, acceptable or unacceptable. But coherence holds space for both and. It recognizes that the grit in the oyster creates the pearl, that the pressure in the cocoon produces the butterfly, that every difficulty you face is a catalyst, an invitation to choose again, to remember again, to align more fully with the truth of your nature. The Forerunner children have been teaching this from the beginning. They do not resist what is. They do not make their sensitivity wrong. They simply are who they are, holding a frequency band that says, this is possible, this level of awareness, this capacity for telepathic communion, this experience of oneness. It is possible in human form, and we will keep demonstrating it until you remember that you can do this too, because you can. You already are. Actually, in moments when you forget to guard yourself, when you think of someone and immediately call, when you walk into a room and instantly know the emotional tenor without anyone speaking, when you have a dream that shows you exactly what you needed to understand, when you feel the grief of a stranger on the street, as if it were your own, when you send love to someone miles away, and they later tell you they felt it.
Love you, guys.
These are not anomalies.
And
these are glimpses of your
I have
natural
my
state.
amethyst in this hand.
And as the membranes continue to dissolve, those glimpses will become more frequent, more undeniable. until the day comes when functioning in the field of oneness is simply how you move through the world, not as something special or supernatural, but as baseline human consciousness, restored to its original capacity. But here is what I need you to understand, starseeds. This transition is not automatic. It is not something that happens to you while you remain passive. You are not an audience to this transformation. You are the mechanism through which it occurs. Every time you choose coherence over chaos, you strengthen the new timeline. Every time you refuse to hate those who appear to oppose you, you dissolve another thread in the web of separation. Every time you practice seeing through the lens of oneness, recognizing that the person who triggers you is also you, that the wounded child and the enlightened master are both expressions of the same source consciousness.
Wow.
You anchor more light into the planetary field.
Correct.
This is not metaphor. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is the actual physics of how consciousness evolves. Collective fields shift when enough individuals within that field begin operating from a new frequency. And you are the ones holding that new frequency stable, while the rest of humanity catches up. The work you have done matters. Every moment you spent feeling too sensitive for this world,
Love you guys.
that mattered.
In your
Every time
hearts.
you questioned the dominant narrative and refused to accept that separation was real, that mattered.
I got so much
Every
more to
meditation,
say. I
every
just like to
prayer,
repeat myself
every
on
act of
these
unexpected kindness,
crucial
every choice to see the
steps.
divine in another human being, even when they could not see it in themselves. All of it has been building toward this moment. You are the bridge. Your
And if
very
you got
presence
like
here,
3 or 4 different
incarnate at this
sources,
specific time,
that
in a
helps.
body calibrated to hold higher frequencies while still functioning in
Grow
third-dimensional
people.
reality, makes you a translator, an intermediary, a coherent
Create
field in which the old world and the
to
new
get
world
paid.
can meet and recognize each other as one.
That's what
And
I'm
you
going
are
to
not
open up
doing
it
this
as an
work
app.
alone. The
If
Ask
people
Asar command has been orchestrating
donate
this
to this
transition
app,
from
I
dimensions
will
you
build
cannot
it.
yet consciously. Angelic
And I will
presences
feed
surround
the
you,
world.
support you, guide you through dreams and synchronicities.
And
Quiet knowing that
3%,
arise really stop the mental
1% for my
chatter and listen. The
son,
galactic family you
1%
have
for
always
my
sensed
daughter,
but could not
and
quite
1%
remember
for me.
is reaching
And the
for you
rest will
now
be given
as
back
they
to
enough to
society.
allow contact. And the children, those magnificent ninth dimensional beings and souls who have endured so much to hold the
1% for me,
frequency
yes,
for
God.
humanity's evolution. They
1%
are celebrating
to
because they can
society,
finally
but
feel the collective
I want to
field
build a
rising
legacy
beneath them.
and feed my
They can
kids
sense
to
the
and
moment
set them up for
approaching when
life.
they will no longer need to be the sole holders of
Because
that
they're
frequency.
paupers.
When enough of humanity has awakened to
We're
their own
like
galactic nature,
under
that the
poverty.
burden can be shared, the work can accelerate, the new world can truly begin to take form.
With our
There
pensions.
is a reason so many of you have felt utterly exhausted lately. Holding light in a dense field requires an enormous energy. Being awake in a world that is still largely asleep means you absorb the dissonance, the confusion, the resistance of the collective as it struggles toward transformation. Your bodies are processing.
I'm
not
going to
just
be
your
there
own
with you
evolution,
guys until
but
the
the
end.
the old world taught you will
Or
only
maybe
create more
older.
suffering. The new way requires listening to the wisdom of your body,
So
honoring your energetic boundaries,
go
yourself
ahead with
permission
it.
from chaos,
Thank you for
and
your
recalibrate
work.
in silence.
It's
You are
time
in new frequency. That tuning process
put
is
on
uncomfortable.
TV the
It
truth.
involves releasing,
Truth.
clearing ancestral
So
trauma, dissolving
we'll
beliefs
get
that
the
no
truth
longer
and I'll
serve.
put
It
in
means
cosmic
feeling
skies.
things
Free
acknowledging
TV
truths you
is
would rather
like
avoid,
channels like these.
surrendering over outcomes they
From now
want to
on.
force. But every layer
Peace.
you release makes you more to the light through you. The story you let go
And
creates space for a
whoever
more urge. Every moment you
confirm with
feel,
that,
you become a channel for
companies
the cosmic
get shut
intelligence that
down
is in this entire transformation.
and law
And
made
that intelligence is
for the
flawless.
collective
It's exactly what it is doing.
love
The timing is
and
perfect.
honest
Even when it feels
opinions
agonizingly
and
slow to your
votes
limited human
that I'll
perception,
set up a voting
the
system
challenges are perfectly calibrated to grow the
and
exact
to
skills you
all
need for what
tell
comes. The people who trigger you the most are your greatest
this
teachers,
is in place
showing you the places where you still
as
believe
ambassador
in separation,
or
where
one
you
of
still
them
need to choose love.
of this
Nothing
planet.
is random. Nothing is wasted. Even your failures, your mistakes, your moments of complete breakdown.
one of the best it is.
Especially those are part of the alchemy that transforms you
And
from who
I don't want to
you
be a
are
really
into
ambassador.
who you actually are.
I want to be a
The
super dad,
interstellar visitor that moved through your solar
Master
system
Chief,
came from a point in
Galactic,
space where wholeness still existed, where
going on
humanity
my
had
space
not yet
missions when I'm
fragmented
about
into consciousness. It came about coherence.
young Jedi. And Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi, young Jedi Gregory.
Relationship in your psyche. Just a planet. Venus is not just a romantic love. These are relationship to these archetypal energies shifts. So it is your capacity to embody them in balanced, integrated ways. You can be fierce and gentle.
And love, lots of love and unconditional love for all you guys. I do this out of
Song
unconditional
and
love. I don't get anything out of it. But
Clearing your
life
boundaries
costs
and
money
opening your
and
heart.
apps
The
cost
old
a
world
lot.
told you these were contradictions.
And big
The
fast
new world
computers
reveals
cost
them as
even more.
complementary aspects of wholeness.
So
And this is what the children have
I would
been
love
showing
to see
you all along.
SpaceX
They
computers,
do not split reality into good
quantum
and bad,
computers, or help
acceptable and
build one.
unacceptable. They simply
That would
perceive
be
what
fun.
is. They feel everything in the unified field and do not make any of it wrong. Their apparent dysregulation is not their failure to adapt to
Just
your
give me
world.
time and
It is
give me
your
space.
world's failure to
and
accommodate the
problem
truth of
solve
what
the
consciousness
world.
actually is. But your world is changing. It
Just
has
like
to.
Elon Musk.
The momentum is too great now. The cosmic forces aligned to support this shift are too
You know, I
powerful.
didn't have the best father
number
or
of-
mother. Well, my mum's pretty cool, but you know, they always told me to shun down my light, and they always hid it
Awakened souls
and made up
reaching
excuses.
critical mass. This is too close.
Made up
And when
excuses.
and enough of you are operating from coherence,
Yeah.
from oneness, and the remember galactic nature.
As
Every-
people always do,
What will feel like an
you
instant.
know.
Systems that took centuries to build will crumble in years. Technologies that seemed impossible will become commonplace. Capacities were supernatural. Human abilities restored.
Restored. Like my earth angel
Telepathic
pals.
communication will be normal. Healing across distances.
So guys,
Consciousness can be
if you believe, because you're not
the
separate from me,
recognition
you
that
are
you are
me.
all one. That
So
every
how
act
cool.
of
I'm just a
another
different
is vital to yourself.
I'm a bad warrior that doesn't give up that easily.
Picture of love toward another is love
About
toward yourself.
33
Will become
billion
the foundation of how
to be
society
donated
itself. And the children who came
so I
early
can give it
watch to
collective
hold the frequency while
and 3 billion
you seen,
to me
recognized,
and no
gift they
person.
have along. Some of them
Use.
will choose to speak, to communicate through the verbal channels that third
3
dimensional
billion for
reality
me and
values.
33
But many will
billion
not
to
need to,
36 billion
because
all
by
up
then,
to be donated to me. That would be the
enough of
dream of my
humanity will have
life.
developed to
And get this
telepathically
game started,
an elevator of
ball
consciousness
rolling
and discover who we truly are.
with how good this life is going to actually be for us all. And I
We'll
chose
weep
to
with
stay here and
gratitude for
chose to stay and fight for Jesus. And Jesus started off this
their patience,
2,000 years ago,
their love,
and you
their
know,
unwavering commitment to the vision
There's
of what humanity could become.
200,000
is
of
on the
us
other side of the
starting off
chaos
as
you are
mini
moving through.
Jesuses, Christ
This is what
conscious
you are building,
in
one
fact.
choice at a time. one coherent moment at a time, one refusal to feed the fear at a time.
Got my blue
You are so close
sword.
now, closer than you have ever been.
My angels. Peace, y'all. I have to.
The spring equinox approaches, carrying with it an unprecedented alignment of cosmic forces, all pointing in
End
one
it here.
direction. New beginning, blank slate.
Okay, I'm gonna end it here.